Rockford Arab Chamber of Commerce was created to help address challenges and promote growth for the Arab community.
13 WREX's Shannon Taylor explains how this new board will help bring more representation to the state line.
We started this discussion or this dream 10 years ago, and I was trying to motivate our community, local business owners to be part of the Chamber of Commerce and work with them.
And now 10 years later, 10 board members make up the Greater Rockford Arab Chamber of Commerce. Their goal is to serve over 688 business owners and 10,000 plus Arab Americans in the state line.
Our goal to motivate the sisters of our community to start their own businesses,
providing more representation for all business needs across the board.
So now you will have a directory. If you search for a car dealer, you will find the car dealers who our members show up on Google because we are working on the marketing, online marketing. So we will help our members to promote their business in the right way.
Business owner Ali Hariz, who is also the treasurer for the board, says that because of the organization's help, he is expecting a huge turnout for his grand opening on Friday.
It's good that we're starting this new thing for the Arab community, and it's for a better future for Rockford, to start for people, to push people to open new businesses. So this is a great idea.
Now that the board is established, Mustafa says that this is proof that diversity is a strength for Rockford, creating more representation for the Arab American community.
With hopes to continue relationships and future collaborations with the Black and Hispanic Chambers of Commerce.
And that was our Shannon Taylor reporting. In August, the board will be hosting a community dinner for the public to come and meet the newest members.
A consumer alert tonight. Illinois Comptroller Susan Mendoza announcing another large deposit into the state's rainy day fund. She announced a transfer of $150 million, bringing the balance to a record high level of $1.73 billion. This week's transfer is part of an $850 million in supplementary funding the state decided to use back in January. Mendoza says the state's reserve account was just over $48,000 back in 2018. Big difference in a few years.
And coming up next tonight on 13 News at 10, how the Northern Illinois police community came together tonight for a memorial service to remember fallen officers.
And we have another chilly morning ahead, but the afternoon feels a lot different. I'll track more big temperature changes in the forecast.
New tonight, we're in the midst of National Police Week. It's a time to honor and remember law enforcement officers who put their lives on the line every day. Rockford Police sharing this photo collage online today, remembering 7 of their fallen officers. They also shared a quote from Vivian Enney saying, quote, "It's not how these officers died that made them heroes, it's how they lived," end quote. You can see in the middle there, the most recent loss was in 2017. That's when Jamie Cox died in the line of duty.
And as National Police Week continues, the Northern Illinois police community came together tonight for a memorial service to remember fallen officers. It was a somber and humbling night for those in attendance, listening to songs, poems, and the names of the fallen. One by one, a candle was lit either by an officer or family member. Then a rose was placed on a wreath to signify their life on duty.
It's important that we never forget who they are and the sacrifice that they did, not let alone for their communities, but their family members as well. To see some of the family members of officers that were lost several years ago still attend in their honor, it's very humbling.
Yeah, always important to remember our fallen heroes there. And to continue National Police Week, officers from Northern Illinois will be at the Cherryvale Mall this weekend for all hours to chat and to answer any questions you may have.
Now in Chicago, the feeling of loss is still fresh as Ariana Preston was laid to rest today. Preston was leaving her shift when she was shot and killed near her home. She was just 24 years old and had been on the Chicago police force for 3 years. Chicago police leadership and Lori Lightfoot, as well as Mayor Brandon Johnson, were there to pay their respects to the fallen officer. 4 people have been charged with Preston's murder at this time.
New tonight, the alleged suspect in the fatal stabbing of 4 University of Idaho students last year has now been indicted by a grand jury on murder and burglary charges.
Yeah, that's right. It means that Brian Koberger will appear in court earlier than expected. Emily Schmidt reports on this new development.
We've seen glimpses of Brian Koberger, mugshots after he was charged with the killing of 4 University of Idaho students last November, and police body cam video when he was stopped at nearby Washington State University for running a red light a month before the murders.
I do apologize if I was asking you too many questions about the law. I wasn't trying to
No, not at all.
And now, a 5-count grand jury indictment. 4 counts of murder, 1 count of burglary. The court sealed the names of grand jury witnesses and evidence we would have heard in a preliminary hearing, originally scheduled for next month.
For instance, in this case where there's phone evidence, DNA evidence likely, all kinds of purchase receipts for knives, other items, travel across the country, search warrants in multiple jurisdictions.
All that evidence will now wait for the trial because the preliminary hearing is canceled.
It is now then transferred in the hands of a district court judge, and on Monday he will be there in court and he will have to enter a plea.
College graduation season gave one glimpse of what was lost in the murders.
Now we will present a Bachelor of Science in Business degree to the family of Madison May Mogan.
The 4 victims, including Madison Mogan, who would have walked the stage with her classmates in May, were honored posthumously instead. Brian Koberger could face the death penalty if convicted. I'm Emily Schmidt reporting.
And Koberger has yet to enter a plea and is being held without bail at the Latay County Jail in Idaho. A court order prohibits all parties from commenting beyond referencing the public records of the case.
We've seen plenty of ups and downs lately when it comes to the temperature. The results, as you can see, over the last 7 days have been kind of dramatic since Sunday. We were all the way up to 80 yesterday, back down to the 60s. We'll likely see another climb tomorrow, then another drop down on Friday. So we continue to be on a roller coaster in the days ahead. Tomorrow, a great example. We've got the summer conditions back, but it's going to be chilly in the morning. So it's one of those days where sweatshirt, jacket kind of weather early on in the day. By the afternoon, you're looking at shorts and short sleeves as temperatures get close to 80 degrees. So a little bit of everything coming tomorrow, but at least we have the warmer conditions after a fairly cool day. Tonight, though, down to 44 under a partly cloudy sky with breezes going light early during the night, then picking up slightly as we get into tomorrow. That does mean wind chill gets a little closer to 30 degrees or the 30s. So be ready for some brisk conditions during those first morning hours right after dawn. Then we heat up quickly. We're closer to 60 by 9, should be near 70 by noon. noon and then approaching 80 degrees by the afternoon. So brisk start, but a very warm finish with temperatures up to 78 under a sunny and hazy sky, along with seeing some breezy southeast winds. So that haze isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Still have plenty of massive fires burning across northwestern Canada, and all of that smoke drifting down into the lower 48 states. You can see it's as far south as Tennessee and North Carolina. The haze does not change much over the course of Thursday, so probably won't see much of a change into tomorrow. When we get to the Friday, that's when we do see the haze starting to thicken up some, and that smoke gets a little closer towards the ground level, so you might notice that smoky air just a little bit more. Then we clear out as we go into the weekend. By the time we get to the weekend, that's when we do see a chance for some showers, or at least early Friday morning. You can see that we do have the rain showers popping up very early in the day, may even get some rumbles of thunder before dawn. A lot of that shower activity out pretty early, so by the time we get to about 9 o'clock Friday, we're done with the rain. So as you look ahead to the first city market of the year, forecast has temperatures back down into the 60s with some breezy winds, but at least the rain looks to be out of the picture by that point. So after a day up near 80 degrees, we're back down into the 60s for Friday, then up again this weekend. Long stretch of 80s around the corner starting Tuesday. In your most accurate 10-day forecast, the weather, in fact, could be feeling pretty summer-like as we get into the holiday weekend coming up next weekend. So that'll make up for all the 60s that we've had in the forecast lately. Speaking of which, high of 69 was in the forecast, hit 67 this afternoon. Means cash total closer to 150. We'll see if we can go over that mark tomorrow.
11 in a row, Alex, thanks. And then you know what? There's a lot of sun, and that means it's no better time than to hit the links. And you can do that by heading to one of our local golf courses. And that's why we here at 13 WREX, we're excited once again to be offering our annual golf card. You can enjoy 9 or 18 holes at some of the best local courses for just under $160. With a value of over $300, that's a savings of more than 45%. Supplies, though, are limited, so you're going to want to hurry. I know we are dwindling here on the number that we have available. You don't want to wake up and realize that you missed out on the golf card, so you can find more information on it right now. It's on the homepage of WREX.com.
On to a fun conversation tonight with two people you've probably seen on your TV screens. TV personality Jonathan Van Ness, known from Netflix's Queer Eyes, and Olympic gold medalist Kristi Yamaguchi. People across the state, they were able to take part in this virtual event to get to know them a little bit better. Illinois libraries present a statewide collaboration among public libraries hosted it tonight. A lot of people wanted to know Kristi's favorite skating move ever.
Probably the triple toe combination, because I knew that that was it. Like if I could land that, I knew I was leaving everything on the table.
When you watch skating now, like it still is like in so many competitions, it'll be like that's the most challenging like combination that's to perform now.
And if anybody can do it, it's Kristi. And coming up on June 6th, a conversation with author Jasmine Ward. So keep that on your radar for next month.
Well, moving on to sports, it's playoff season here in spring sports, so let's bring in 13 Sports Director Eric Graver for a look at the big games happening today. Eric.
Yeah, Will, it is that time of year. Over in 1A soccer, we had sectional semifinal action with both Byron and Stillman Valley looking to move on to the sectional finals. And in boys 3A track and field, they had their sectionals as well. We'll have all the highlights coming up next in sports. Trips to state were on the line tonight at DeKalb High School for the 3A track and field sectionals. It was a great night for racing at the home of the Barbs tonight, and we'll start the 3,200-meter run where Belvedere North's Evan Horgan qualified for state with a time of just over 9 minutes. And over to the hurdles now where Auburn's Brandon Ferguson battled for second place, and he would qualify for state with a 15-second run. The good one here, Belvedere North's Nico Bertolino and East Mackay Dockett Lewis both qualify. Auburn's Jeremiah Walker missed out in third by 0.4 of a second, but Lewis fired up about that one. It was Landon Bakhta going for a bid at state in the 800-meter run, and he would do just that, finishing in third with a time of 1 minute 59 seconds. And here he is looking up at the clock and saying, "I made it," relieved to make it on to state. And Easton Auburn getting set for the 4x200-meter relay. East Dockett Lewis leading it off for him. He would help them bring home the win and the qualifying time of 1 minute 28. Guilford would finish second with 1:29, and Auburn would also qualify the time of 1 minute 31 seconds. And in 1A soccer, two big northern teams were looking to move past their sectional semifinal games at Hinckley Big Rock tonight. We'll start with Stillman Valley taking on Indian Creek in the first game of the day. Both offenses just having a tough time scoring in this one. Nice save there from the keeper, Kennedy Swenson. Our athlete of the week, Sigrid Larson, with a nice shot on net. The goalie right there for it. And two Hinckley Big Rock alums, my mom and grandma, enjoying some semifinal action tonight. In the second half, still 0-0. Grace Costello nearly scores, but just bounces to the outside. This game would have to go into penalty kicks after two scoreless overtimes as well. Cynthia Estrada with a nice shot up top, gets it to go. It was Indian Creek who was able to pull out the win in PKs for the 1-0 win. And in the second game of the day, Byron taking on Almond, and Almond's offense was swarming right off the bat, but Britton Bilskis in net right there for the nice save. She was making highlights all basketball season too. And speaking of that, Ava Colchin's done the same over the years, but this may have been her best highlight. Gives Byron the lead with a ridiculous long-range shot. Tons of arc on that ball. She had the Tigers buzzing early, but Almond start to turn it on after that. They have a great soccer program. They go on to take the lead and go on to win it 4-1. And over at Guilford High School, one of their best basketball players from the Nick 10 signed to his college team this afternoon. Makai Doby will continue his basketball career at Aurora University next year. Doby had a great senior season with the Vikings, helping lead them to a Nick 10 championship. He was named conference MVP in his senior campaign. Now he'll continue his great basketball career close to home at Aurora University.
Number one, because of the connection I have with the coach. We and him been talking since like my junior year, and he was telling me how good of a fit it will be. And once I went to the college and seen the players and made connections with them, it made it better. Number one, my coach never giving up and always believing, because to start off we weren't so good and we ended off good. So I know just not giving up on myself and pushing my teammates when I get there too.
Congrats to Doby and continuing his great basketball career. That's going to do it for sports. We'll be right back.
Keep Northern Illinois Beautiful is partnering with Illinois Bank and Trust for a paper shredding and electronics collection event. It's from 9 to noon on Saturday, May 27th, so you have time to get all those documents together. That event is at Illinois Bank and Trust Perryville Banking Center on East Riverside Boulevard. The limit is 2 boxes of documents per customer. Now, computers and electronic equipment is also accepted for secure recycling at no charge. Data will be wiped before recycling.
Like we saw this morning, brisk conditions to kick off tomorrow. We'll see temperatures in the 40s, may even feel just slightly colder than that thanks to some wind chills. So things are going to be a little brisk to kick off the day. We warm up a lot faster, though. We see some sunshine, temperatures back up close to 60 by 9, and then into the 70s, possibly a couple spots getting up to 80 degrees tomorrow onto that sunny and hazy sky. So one of those days where we've got the jackets on in the morning, but then we don't have to worry about them in the afternoon. So we'll be right back up again to almost where we were yesterday, and then dropping again for Friday. A little preview of the first city market of the year. Rain possible Friday morning, so be aware of that. And then the afternoon looking dry but cooler. Temperatures in the 60s with that breezy northwest wind. Might even feel a touch colder than that, but still kind of nice to see city market back on the forecast.
Yeah, not only that, but there's the nice pavilion, there's the indoor city market. So even if there is rain, there's going to be a lot of fun.
We'll be all good.
Yeah, and we'll see you out there too on Friday. And we'll see you back here tomorrow morning for 13 News Today. Have a great night.
3, 2, oh, lights. I realized it because I don't like how I look with the orange background. And I was like, oh, I'd rather have those in the orange. It's just not my color. Now, what is that? It's just like it reminds me of the popsicle, like a summer popsicle. Yeah, whatever. You ready? Sleepy. All right. 3, 2, 1. Trips to state were on the line at DeKalb High School last night for the 3A track and field sectionals. A great night for racing at the home of the Barbs, and we'll start in the 3,200-meter run where Belvedere North's Evan Horgan qualified for state with a All right. 3, 2, 1. Trips to state were on the line at DeKalb High School last night for the 3A track and field sectionals. It's a great night for racing at the home of the Barbs last night. We'll start in the 3,200-meter run where Belvedere North's Evan Horgan qualified for state with a time of just over 9 minutes. Over to the hurdles where Auburn's Brandon Ferguson battled for second place, and he would qualify for state with a 15-second run. A good race here. Belvedere North's Nico Bertolino and East's Mackay Dockett-Lewis both qualify. Auburn's Jeremiah Walker missed out in third by 0.4 of a second. Lewis fired up about that one. It was Landon Bakhta going for a bit at state in the 100-meter run, and he would do just that, finishing third with a time of 1 minute 59 seconds. It's a good race from the Guilford Viking, and here he is looking up at the clock saying, I made it, relieved to make it to state. East and Auburn getting set for the 4x200-meter relay. East Dockett-Lewis leading it off for him, and he would bring them home the win and the qualifying time of 1 minute 28. Guilford would finish second with 1:29, and Auburn also with the qualifying time at 1:31. That's going to do it for sports. I'll have more sports coverage coming up later on 13 News Today. One. In 1A soccer, two big northern teams were looking to move past their sectional semifinal games at Hinckley Big Rock. We'll start with Stillman Valley taking on Indian Creek in the first game of the day. Both offenses just having a tough time scoring in this one. The nice save there from Kennedy Swenson. It's our athlete of the week, Sigrid Larson, with a nice shot on net, but goalie's right there for it. And two Hinckley Big Rock alums, my mom and grandma, enjoying some soccer at their alma mater high school. In the second half, still 0-0. Grace Costello nearly scores, but just bounces outside. This game would have to go into penalty kicks after two scoreless overtimes as well. Cynthia Estrada, the nice shot up top, gets it to go, but it was Indian Creek who was able to pull out the win in PKs for the 1-0 win. And in the second game of the day, Byron taking on Allman, and Allman's offense swarming right off the bat, but Britton Bilskis right there for the save in net. Nice play from her. And Ava Kolchin, she's made a lot of highlights over the years, but this may have been her best. She gives Byron the lead with that ridiculous long-range shot. Tons of arc on that ball, and she had the Tigers buzzing early. Seen Ava after a lot of big plays, and I think even she was a little surprised that one went in, but a great play. But Allman would start to turn it on after that. They take the lead, and they would go on to win it 4-1. And over at Guilford High School, one of their best basketball players from the Nick 10 signed to his college team. Makai Doby will continue his basketball career at Aurora University next year. Doby had a great senior season with the Vikings, helping lead them to a Nick 10 championship, and he was named the conference MVP in his senior season. Now he'll continue his great basketball career close to home at Aurora University.
Number one, because of the connection I have with the coach. We and him been talking since like my junior year, and he was telling me how good of a fit it will be. And once I went to the college and seen the players and made connections with them, it made it better. Number one, my coach never giving up and always believing, because to start off we weren't so good and we ended off good. So I know just not giving up on myself and pushing my teammates when I get there too.
Congrats to Dobie on continuing his great basketball career. That'll do it for sports. Back over to you.